Yousician versus Simply Piano. You want to learn how to play the piano, but you're not sure whether to choose Yousician or Simply Piano. Well, in this video, I'm going to do a completely honest and non-sponsored review and comparison on both of these apps. So at the end of the video, hopefully it will help you choose whether Yousician or Simply Piano is right for you. I play the piano and I'm a full-time singer-songwriter myself, so if you are curious to what my music sounds like, I'll leave a link in the description. In this video, I'm going to go over 4 specific parts. So the first one, we're going to talk about the layout and design of Yousician and Simply Piano and how they compare to one another. Then we're going to get into how both apps actually teach you how to learn the piano and what the different interfaces and functions are like in that learning UX. Then we're going to get into the price and how much each cost. And then lastly, I'll talk about things I wish each app had, my personal preference on each app, and what app is right for you. So let's get into the first section now though, which is important, talking about the layout and design of Yousician versus Simply Piano. Throughout the course of this video, I'll be showing you different screens from desktop view, tablet view, and mobile view. Unfortunately though, Simply Piano isn't available on the desktop, so I'll only be showing what it's like on my iPhone and on my iPad. Let's start with Yousician. Now, I've used Yousician before. I'm currently right now only on their free trial. But this is what Yousician looks like in the desktop app. At the top here, we have songs, learn, and challenges. Under this learn section here, where you have 2 different options, missions and workouts. And workouts happens to be more of like a choose your own adventure type of thing. Let's say you want to train your ear, you go to ear trainers, or you want to build technique. Missions are really tracked focused. So it's a linear path of going through a series of exercises that will build your technique into becoming a better piano player. It starts at the top under this first section, Let's Play. And if we scroll down, you can see the grayed out positions here that we would eventually get to. And so the important part here is at level 3, it splits into classical, knowledge, and pop. And so that's the track where you eventually will choose, do you want to be more of a classical player? Do you want to just really play pop songs? Or do you want to build your knowledge, build your theory, and become a strong piano player theoretically? How we might go about this mission section if we are just a beginner piano player is we would start at the beginning, Let's Play, and we would continue unlocking different levels until we mainly get to this track split coming up here. So that's what the learn section looks like. If we go over to the challenges section, these are just a series of challenges. And to be honest, I never really got into the challenges section. I was really more focused on learning technique in specific parts in the track section and the workout section, and then I would just move on to songs and play the songs that I actually wanted to play. So on that, we can go over to the songs section, and then here is where you will see songs, and you can always search for a song at the top right here and search for any song you'd like. Let's say you like Fur-Elise, and you'll get different versions of Fur-Elise based on levels of difficulty. Bottom here we have Yousician collections, and we can click into any of these titles and go to different really buckets of songs that Yousician has. And Yousician does have a ton of songs, which is really valuable if you want to focus on playing songs. So we have the pop star here, and we can go into different pop songs, obviously. This P+ orange badge here is those songs are only available to if you are on the Premium Plus plan. So that's one thing to consider if you want all these pop songs. Let's switch over now and compare what the design looks like on Simply Piano. After signing up to Simply Piano, you'll be asked to do a bit of onboarding, some simple questions of what your goals are as a piano player, how much experience you have, and then you'll get this view. And it's a really simple view in Simply Piano. We have courses and songs on the left navigation. And with courses, you can be swiping left to right, and you can go through a similar type of track that the workouts would be in Yousician. But with Simply Piano, you would start with Piano Basics, move on to Essentials 1. And just like Yousician had the classical, knowledge, and pop different tracks, in Simply Piano, we have the soloist and chords tracks, which essentially are more or less the same depending on what type of piano player you want to become. For example, chords might be better for you if you want to really focus on learning pop songs and kind of more mainstream music. Soloist would be more of the classical player who really wants to build their technique and learn sheet music, really. We can go left to right and go through these different tracks, and these are basically these boxes here, like pop chords, are lessons where you can click into each lesson, and then you have another left to right with shaded out options, a linear track of what that course is. Very similar to Yousician, you can search for songs that are available, or you can actually just go through different songs from left to right, and there are some filters at the top. Essentials 1, Essentials 2, pop chords, Essentials 3, chord styling, and these are all respective to the courses section. So if we go over to courses here and scroll to the very beginning, we have this Essentials 1 course. So if you take that course, then songs that you probably can play already would be under this Essentials 1 course. So this Tom Petty Free Falling song, this song here, this would be a good song for you to play if you complete the Essentials 1 course. You also have the option to jump right into this song and start learning it right away, even if you don't complete that course. So that's the design of Simply Piano. Already noticeably, I think, much more simple than Yousician. It isn't available on desktop, so there is a lot less space real estate that they have available to them, which really makes it simple. So that's section 1, the layout and design of Simply Piano versus Yousician. If you are more inclined to be learning piano on a mobile device or tablet, then I probably would suggest Simply Piano as having a better user experience on those devices. But if you'd rather use a desktop with a keyboard and mouse, then I'd probably suggest using Yousician, mainly for the fact that Simply Piano is just not available on desktop. Let's move to the second section, arguably the more important section, which is how do Simply Piano and Yousician actually teach you piano technique, and how do they teach you how to learn how to play a song? So we'll switch back and forth between Simply Piano and Yousician, talking a bit about the features on how they teach you how to play the piano. Let's first start with Yousician. We can do a number of things when we want to learn the piano, like we said with Yousician. We can do workouts, missions, we can jump into challenges, or we can jump into learning how to play a song. Let's say for the purpose of this video, we'll jump into the learn section, and we'll go to the missions, and we'll start at the beginning to give you an idea of what it's like for a real beginner, and then we'll jump over to Simply Piano and do the same. And then we'll take a look at actually what it's like learning a song. Now this is the interface of what the course kind of curriculum would look like in Yousician, and we can scroll from top to bottom looking at the different sections in this course. So we have the introduction, the video, the C position, the ball is in the air, and this Ode to Joy, which are still locked. So we would watch this video kind of showing you what the course is like, and I do recommend watching those videos if you are a true beginner. You always have the option to skip those videos. So this is what the C position workout looks like. And you see there's different notes here of locked courses that we can't play yet until we finish note C. So we can get right into play performance mode, where we can actually start getting points for our performance, or we can start with practice. Let's get into practice first. This is the onboarding video that I was mentioning, and you can either walk through this onboarding video with the teacher that is speaking behind it, or you can go at the top here, skip. So this is what the learning interface looks like in Yousician, and there are a few different things going on here, so we'll mention all of them. If we press the play button, we'll go through the practice, and we'll actually start playing the notes when they come up on the sheet music. And you can see our keyboard down here with the colored notes that we are supposed to play. We do have the option to change the notation if we'd rather not play in standard sheet music. So we can go to the notation on the left, and we can do tablature, which looks like this if I scroll over to the notes, which are colored notes, or we can go to actual sheet music, like which we had, or we can go to colored sheet music, which is like kind of this Yousician thing where they take the sheet music and they put the colors of the notes that you're supposed to play. For example, this D note, which is yellow, is a D on the sheet music. If we scroll over, this little green C is actually a C note on the keyboard. So it kind of tells you where you should play on the keyboard with respect to what it is on the sheet music. Moving up the navigation on the left side, we can always press this restart button to get back to the beginning of the song. We can go to performance mode here and actually start getting points. Press pause and we can actually go back to practice. Then on the top here, we have more options. We have the tempo scroll bar, which is really valuable when you're practicing. For example, we can scroll all the way to any tempo we want until 25% and all the way up to 125%, which is really valuable when you're practicing, so you can just practice slower. So you can put this at anywhere you want. Let's say we want it at 50% right now. At the bottom here, we have the option, which is really valuable in Yousician, to use these scroll bars here. There's one on the left and then there's one on the right, where we can narrow into a certain section of the song where we want that to loop. and chunk the song to really focus in on that song. So if we want it to be at this busy section down here, we can narrow it down there and press play, and it will start right at this section of the song. And so you can see it's going quite slow. If that's too slow for us, we can always move up the tempo to all the way to 125% if we want. And it's not going to continue on until I play this note, which is great in practice mode, because if you're actually trying to practice, well, you shouldn't be having the sheet music continue on until you are actually playing these notes. More options at the top here. If we go to this drop-down box, we have the mute song option. So there is a backing track happening while we are playing this song, and we can mute that if we don't like it. A metronome is really valuable to have while you're playing piano, because you want to make sure you're playing in time. So we do have the option to turn on or off the metronome. This play for me button it's saying, do you want the sounds of the piano to be coming out at the same time you are playing them? So we have the option to turn that on or off. What I'll show you when we're learning a song, up here at the top, we'll have the option to only choose left or right hand, and we can focus in on the bass clef or the treble clef. Because we're learning such a simple song right now, we only have the right hand available to us. So that's what the practice mode looks like in Yousician, and you can tell just from the design that it is quite playful and very gamified. There are a lot of different colors and different interactions there that make it fun to use, and a lot of options and settings that we can choose from. Let's move on and take a look at what the practice mode looks like in Simply Piano. Let's open up Simply Piano in the iPhone app and go to the courses section and open up Piano Basics. Learning really the same course, we're learning how to play middle C. We did that in Yousician, and now we're going to do the same thing more or less in Simply Piano. So this is the first 3 notes section of this course. And we can go over, see we already did the learn middle C, but we can go and do adding the note E. And so this is what the learning interface looks like in Simply Piano. And noticeably already a lot less option to choose from in terms of settings. We really only have 4 different settings. We have play and stop. On the left, we have a restart button. We have the main navigation button where we can get back to the course structure. And then we have this ear, and we can press this ear and get the tone of the note, what the note actually sounds like. When we're in Simply Piano learning in the course interface, we can't increase the tempo. We can actually do that when we're playing songs in Simply Piano, but when we're in the course interface, we can't increase the tempo. We can't add a metronome. We can't turn off the backing track. We can't isolate left and right hands. So noticeably already much less settings. However, in Simply Piano, the interface does change when we're going to learn a song. So if I go to songs and then I go to the Sorry song by Justin Bieber, we're going to do it anyways. This is what the full song interface would look for. And that's a little bit different. We have different options at the top here where we can increase and decrease the tempo if we'd like. So we can pause it here, and we can decrease the tempo down to 60%, up to 100%. So still limited. Yousician gives you the option to go down to 25%, right? Unfortunately, in Simply Piano, there's no opportunity to only isolate the left or right hands. As we saw, we did have that option in Yousician. Another thing, there's no option to change the notation. We only have sheet music available to us. Not necessarily a bad thing, because if you're learning piano really is sheet music, and you should try to learn sheet music as best you can, unless you really just don't want to. Yousician offers that colored notation or that tablature notation if you'd like to use those things. But the side effect of using that Yousician notation or the tablature notation is that you start to rely on these colors, and then if you ever go to sheet music, you'll just be completely lost because you don't have those colors. So you really are using those colors as a crutch to try and learn sheet music. With Simply Piano, you only have the option to use sheet music. But continuing on with the learning interface with Simply Piano, we can go left to right. We scroll with our fingers on our iPhone or tablet, and we go left to right. We can go anywhere in the sheet music and press play, but we don't have the option to loop a certain section of the song if we just want to narrow in and focus on a certain part of the intro, let's say. We don't have that option to loop the song, which is really unfortunate, because me personally, I loop certain sections and only focus on certain small chunks of the song before ever tackling the whole song. And I found that as a really valuable aspect to learning piano with Yousician. They had that loop function where you can narrow in on something. With Simply Piano, we don't have that. Already noticeable differences between the two in terms of settings and how they approach teaching you a song. Simply Piano is much more simple. You get right into it, you press play, you scroll to where you want in the song, and you start playing that part of the song. Where Yousician comes with a bit more out-of-the-box option for you to narrow in on certain things, for you to really decrease the tempo if you'd like, to put a metronome on, to take the backing track off. More options than Simply Piano has as well. So it really depends on what type of level you are as a piano player. And if you feel comfortable with less amount of options, then maybe Simply Piano is the better option for you. Let's talk about the pricing now between Yousician and Simply Piano to see which one is less expensive. So Simply Piano comes with a family plan and a premium access plan with different timing options. So you can have a 6-month family plan, or you can have up to a year family plan. The same goes for their premium access plan. The longer you go with Simply Piano, the cheaper it will be. For example, you can sign up for the 1-year Simply Piano family plan, and that's $194.99, or the 3-month family plan in contrast at $107.99. The premium access plan you can get at a 3-month, 6-month, or 1-year basis. The 3-month is $71.99, the 6-month $101.99, and the 1-year is $129.99. So how does this compare to Yousician? Yousician also has 2 different types of plan. They have the premium plan and the premium plus plan. Premium plan at 12 months is $159.99 or $13.99 a month. You can also get the 3-month plan at $59.99 or the 1-month plan at $29.99. So if you want to go to the Premium Plus package, you can do that at 12 months at $199.99, the 3 months at $89.99, or the 1 month at $37.99. Both offer a free trial. So with both Simply Piano and Yousician, you can start with a free trial for 7 days and you don't have to worry to be charged. But make sure if you do sign up for it that you do cancel within 7 days, because you will be charged after that 7th day. Let's move on to this final section of this Yousician versus Simply Piano comparison to see if Yousician or Simply Piano is better for you, and some things that I wish each app had. So let's say if you are a complete beginner, you've never touched the piano before at all, you have no understanding of any musical theory, and you've just bought a keyboard. I might say that Simply Piano is better for you because of its really easy design, and there's not a lot to get overwhelmed with in terms of settings or getting up and running. With that said though, if you prefer the extra settings and options that we talked about with Yousician, then you might want to start with Yousician instead. Where I think Simply Piano can lead you astray is if you do start with Simply Piano and get up to a certain level where you want to start building your technique in terms of your velocity playing and your real feeling of how you play the piano, you might want to move on to a different piano learning app that has more options like Yousician or something else. It does really come down to a personal choice of what level you're at and what interface you want in your piano learning app. If you're curious about what might be some other piano learning apps, for example, Flowkey, I do have a review on Flowkey below, which is also another great option if you're trying to learn the piano. If you're curious to hear what my music sounds like, please feel free to check it out. There's a couple links in the description, and feel free to subscribe too. Hope to see you in the next video.